and welcome back to Flo's Corner. So in this video, we are going to be doing phlebotomy Q&A part 4. I get so excited because you guys know I love my Q&A videos. These are the videos that is so fun for me to make and everything, but I have asked y'all to put down some questions or anything like that you guys wanted to know about phlebotomy, and you guys did not disappoint, boo-boo. So let's get right into it. So question 1 reads, how do you handle patients that are very nervous? So I've explained these in a few of my other videos. Being a phlebotomist, we definitely deal with people who are super afraid of needles, super afraid of blood work. They get themselves psyched up. I told you guys I've had patients that fainted on me because they're so afraid and stuff. So normally when I have a patient that is very nervous or just kind of very antsy and, just kind of pensing and stuff like that, then I always talk my patients through whatever I'm getting ready to do. I always explain to you, you never want to walk in a room of a patient or a patient come into your room and they don't know what's going on. If I even detect one little bit of being nervous, I always try to be very empathetic. I'm just a very empathetic person anyways, but I always try to be very empathetic to their needs. The key is to stay patient. Another key is to understand their nervousness and where is it coming from. Talk them through their procedure, explain everything that's getting ready to go on, answer any of their questions. Anything like that will definitely be the way that I normally like to handle my patients. I always explain that it's not always a pediatric patient that you are going to deal with being a little bit hard because they're afraid of needles, and not every child wants to get stuck with a needle or anything like that. We do have all different demographics and age groups that is afraid and nervous as well when it comes to blood draws. So pretty much, like I said, being communicative, empathetic, also keeping your professionalism. And that's pretty much how you would actually deal with a nervous patient. Question 2 reads, what are the top 5 things to know if anyone wants to work in this field and have some experience? One quick tip that I like to say is you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. I always try to preach that even going in as a rookie, even being an experienced phlebotomist, sometimes we're going to make mistakes, and it is not something that we should put ourselves down for, because things are going to happen. There's no way of getting around it. So that's definitely one tip that I like to say to anyone trying to come into phlebotomy. You're going to make mistakes, and that is okay. Redirect what the mistake was, ask questions, figure it out, look to your supervisors, look to other co-workers or anything like that, so that you can learn from this mistake and you can move forward. My second tip is to develop soft skills, because even though phlebotomy is more like practical skills and technical skills, you definitely need to have soft skills working in this profession, because sometimes it does feel like a customer service job where you are going to need to speak to people, which is going to be your patients. It's going to be de-escalating a lot of problems or anything that is happening at the moment, being empathetic, like I said, being professional, things like this. You're going to be dealing with the public, you're going to be dealing with different people, so you definitely need to develop soft skills when you're coming into this profession. Another tip I have is that you are going to gain lots of exposure in the medical field. When you work as a phlebotomist, you guys all know, I speak about it all the time, is that you deal with different settings like hospitals, clinics, diagnostic laboratories, blood plasma donation places, things like this. You're going to have lots of exposure in the medical field when it comes to being a phlebotomist, which in turn may make you want to pursue another career, or if you don't, or however, honestly, you get to work around so many different specialties, different people in the medical field, different professions in the medical field. And I think that is an awesome, wonderful thing about being a phlebotomist. Is like I always say, it's always a doorway in to the medical field. If you ever want to become something else, phlebotomy, I do feel, is a doorway in. Another tip I have is that you're going to be dealing with different age demographics and different demographics of people and diversity and backgrounds and all kinds of things. I think that's a beautiful thing. It gets you to meet new people, it could be people from all over the world, different cultures, anything like that. I do say that phlebotomy is definitely that little gap between, you know, you and the real world. And I do believe that is an awesome thing. I just believe that, you know, the world should continue to go around by everyone being there and knowing things about other people and different cultures and things. So I do love that part about phlebotomy, is that I get to deal with different demographics and different age groups and everything like that. And also the fifth tip is my number one favorite, is that you are going to deal with more than blood. I do like to give that as a tip because a lot of people do think that phlebotomists only deal with blood specimens, and I just wanted to let anybody coming into phlebotomy that wants to gain experience is that just be ready to know that you're going to be dealing with different specimens besides blood. I have many of videos that you guys know about that I discuss about different non-blood specimens that phlebotomists do deal with, handle, collect, and things like that. So I always think that is a very good tip to give to any rookie phlebotomist trying to come into this field, or anyone thinking about phlebotomy, is that you may deal with more than just blood. Question number 3, where can I get the most experience in doing phlebotomy? Private clinic versus CPL. CPL would be like a clinical pathology laboratory, like a diagnostic laboratory, versus hospital versus plasma lab. This question could go either way depending on the person. My experience personally, I do feel that the hospital definitely gave me way more exposure and experience in the phlebotomy world because I drew a lot of different specimens. So what I mean by that is that, okay, like the blood specimens, you guys know we do the order of draw, which means there's a whole lot of different tubes out there and however. So when I worked in the hospital, that definitely let me see and draw so many different color tubes that, you know, I almost didn't even know that, you know, there was so much taste the rainbow, color of the rainbow kind of thing when it came to phlebotomy. And when I was in the hospital, I was drawing lots and lots of different color tubes, obviously, because everyone in there is not going to have the same conditions and things like that. So it definitely gave me more exposure, more experience while I was in the hospital. Also with the hospitals that do have their own laboratory department, yeah, man, you can be in there learning so much different things, even about microbiology and stuff like that. There are many times that, you know, I can take my break and I can go into the laboratory, and, you know, you have your coworkers and you talking and you asking questions. Oh, what are you doing? You spinning that? Oh, what's that? You taking a little pipette, and what's this testing for, and how does that work, and things like that. And I think you get so much exposure when it comes to the hospitals, that especially when they actually contain their own laboratory department. Like I said, different tubes, different needles, everything, you name it. Someone else may feel that they gained more experience working in a clinic or working in a diagnostic laboratory and any other settings. But me personally, I just felt that the hospital was definitely that number one for gaining so much different experience, because like I said, I was drawing different types of testing. I found out about different testings because of these certain tubes that I was doing and things like that. So, you know, like for example, my clinic now, I don't do any blood cultures, and that's just because of the specialized doctor that I work under and things. So sometimes when you have like a personalized physician, he may have patients of the same kind of how would you say it? Maybe same kind of like demographic in what type of specialty he is, or you may have another doctor who specializes like in like another field of study and stuff. So you may draw similar tubes and things like that when it comes to their certain patients. But when I was in the hospital, obviously I was all over the hospital on different floors, different units, different specialties. So I was drawing all kinds of tubes, all kinds of different things that I needed to draw and whatever and yada yada. So I just feel that the hospital for me was the number one place to gain more experience. So question 4 is like a sublet of that of question 3, which is, which of those places is more chill because of the environment but still busy and fun? I actually love that question. that's another one. Same thing. It would literally honestly depend on the phlebotomists themselves to answer that question on a personal level. But for me, I would say like blood donation places and maybe even plasma centers. And the only reason why I say blood donation is because the population of people when it comes to blood donating and stuff is more so a lot of people who are on the healthier side, because you know you go through the whole shebang when it comes to being a blood donor. You have to be healthy because you're donating blood for blood to be used for someone who is not as healthy later on in the future. And however, so I would say that blood donation centers can be more so still busy, but a little bit more fun and chill. The patients are very very sweet. They're coming in there, with a cause, like, hey, I'm coming, to donate my blood to help someone out. So like I said, you can get these other places. Obviously, you can get that in the clinic. You can't get it at a hospital and everything like that. But if you're just asking which one would be more chill but busy and still fun, I would say the blood donation. Because like I said, the people are more cooperative, less stressful than a hospital, and yeah, it's just I would say just a little bit different, but I just hope I answered that correctly. In my opinion, that was my answer. But question 5 reads, have you ever felt overworked because you were short-staffed? And the answer to that is yes. Okay? Okay. Yes, I have felt overworked because we were short-staffed. And this goes back to my hospital days, okay? You guys know that I told you guys I worked 10-hour shifts in the hospital overnight. I was working 9 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. in the morning. And we were considered C shift. We had an A, B, and C shift. I was considered C shift. And C shift was just never staffed properly, ever. So I don't know, maybe just a lot of people just didn't want to work, in the overnight field and all that stuff. So yeah, we were always short-staffed. We weren't always like that. I feel like maybe like the first 2 weeks of like me training, when I first had gotten onto the overnight shift, I felt like we were pretty okay. And then it just went downhill from there. There were times that I would walk in and they would be like, oh, Flo, you're alone till midnight. And I'm like, it's 9, midnight, 10, 11, 12. So there's nobody else. There's going to be like cold blues, rapid responses. Oh, and all these other blood draws and heart sticks from the day that nobody got and all of this stuff. And my mobile phone is just full of draws and I'm by myself for 3 hours. Yeah. Yes. So let me tell you, yes, I have felt overworked because we were short-staffed. I don't know. It was very stressful. That was also one of the reasons why I had left the hospital, because it was just a lot, it was just a lot. Once that 7:30 would come the next day, I was tired, I was beat, I was just, yeah, it was a lot. You just really, you're on your feet all night. You guys know I was pushing that cart, like I told you guys in my other videos, and yeah, just because you work at a hospital don't mean that it's always full of a bunch of people and stuff like that. Maybe daytime, I feel like more people obviously want to work in the day shifts and stuff like that. But you got to remember, hospital doesn't close. So overnight people are crucial and essential. And yeah, I was one of those. But we do deal with a lot of people calling out, not wanting to come in and things like that. So yeah, it was. But anyhow, I answered the question. My answer was yes. Question 6 reads, what is my greatest strength as a phlebotomist? So I am a very communicative person. I love to communicate. I am one of those that if I don't understand or if I don't know, I am a question asker. And I just pretty much think that no matter what profession that you decide to embark on or anything. If you don't understand, or if you don't know, or if you need a little bit of help, you have to ask questions so that you could be greater. Now, you know, you don't want to be one of those like ask 10 million thousand questions, but even if you are, and so what? You doing it because you want to make sure that you are great. Okay. So I do believe that I have one of the strengths of communication. I do feel like I am one of those people with a really cool and calm demeanor. It takes a lot to really get me to 1,000. So I do feel that that is one great strength that I have, because we do deal with a lot of people, like I said, of different demographics and however, and then you do have some people who is already on 1,000 coming into your room, or you're walking into their room, and I do feel that I can be cool, calm, and collective and get what I need across without being so nasty. I'm that type of person, so I definitely think that is one of my greatest strengths as well. I am very compassionate. I do care about people. I do care about the public. I do care about the world. So I do feel that that holds a really good strength of mine, is to be compassionate. I'm really easy and good to adapt whenever I need to, and I pay attention to detail as much as I possibly can. Like I said, I make mistakes too. I'm human, but these are just some of the greatest strengths that I think that I actually think I have and things. So I like that question. So question 7 reads, is there 2 exams that you have to take when completing your phlebotomy course? I went through all of my videos because I cannot believe that I did not explain this in my videos. And I'm glad someone had asked that question, because when you're in your phlebotomy courses, you do take an exam. You take an exam that is the end of the phlebotomy course exam. So it's like the course had taught you all of these things. You may have done your clinicals and however, and you take an exam at the end to pass the course. Now, the NHA is another exam for your certification. And I know from my experience, there was 2. There was the course exam, and then there's your certification exam. I'm so sorry I did never explain that to you guys. But yes, there is 2 tests, because I think people think that you are certified after you take your course exam. And me personally, it's like a yes and a no. It just means that you finish this phlebotomy course, but you still are going to need your certification to do the phlebotomy. Well, technically not really, because I also told you guys that you don't need to be certified in certain states, but there are employers that don't want to accept you without being certified. So the course one, I don't think will give you that. Okay, because I honestly don't know whether, you know, you finish your course and then boom, you can apply for a job and you were fine. So most of the time it's after like your NHA certification, like, you know, the real legit one and everything like that, before that your employers and stuff like that is going to look at. Finishing the course may be fine and dandy, but like I said, I'm not sure how employers would look at that. Like, well, hey, I passed this exam, does that count, and stuff like that. So it may not be. Most of the time it's with the real certification, which will be like your NHA certification before you start being picked for a job. I'm so upset I never actually mentioned that. That was actually an eye-opener for me. I'm so sorry about that, guys. But yes, in my opinion, you do have to take 2. You take the exam for the course, and then you take the exam that you sit down for your NHA certification exam. And our last question, question number 8, is an ASCP certification better than the NHA certification? And just a quick touch up, ASCP stands for American Society for Clinical Pathology, and the NHA stands for National Healthcare Association. So yes, in the phlebotomy world, the ASCP certification is considered better than the NHA certification, because the ASCP certification is more like an advanced certification for phlebotomy, you are pretty much going to be getting your PBT, which is going to be your phlebotomy technician certification, which just pretty much means it's like a more extensive like expertise, requiring more like extensive training and experience when it comes to phlebotomy. So the ASCP certification is definitely on that aspect more than the NHA. The NHA certification, you get your CPT, and this pretty much is like great for entry-level phlebotomists. So like, you know, someone coming in from a course and then you go and take your NHA exam. You pretty much are, I think personally, you're still really valuable and everything like that. Obviously with the NHA, you can practice phlebotomy and be taken in by employers and things like that with your NHA. ASCP is just going a little bit further if you would like to do anything like that. But honestly, both certifications are great. I don't want anyone to feel that you will not at least get anything. I mean, I don't want anyone to feel like you're not important or you're not, you know, just as qualified if you have the NHA versus your ASCP. It literally just depends on you as a person if you want to go further in your expertise of phlebotomy, or you want to stay at where you're at with the NHA certification. Phlebotomists are paid very, very well in my opinion. So I just feel that the NHA works just as good as the ASCP. Like I said, if you love phlebotomy and want to go a little bit further, looking into like lab technicians and things like that, then you're more than welcome to do so. But just to answer the question, is ASCP certification better than NHA? In the phlebotomy world, it is considered better. So definitely like this video so I can actually go a little bit more further about both of them. If you guys are more interested in that, I do have some expertise on the ASCP certification and the NHA certification. So definitely just like this video so I know if you guys want me to make a video about that. But those are all the questions that I have for this video. I really hope this video was helpful. Thank you all for those who are really checking out my playlist and watching all of those phlebotomy videos or any videos you would like to watch on my page. I really, truly, honestly appreciate you guys for that. Definitely, I love you guys for participating in the questions that I was posting on my posts and answering them and things. Even if you got it wrong, I adore you guys for even giving it a shot. I hope that even when you had pressed and you noticed it was the wrong answer, that when I had the explanation of the right answer, that has helped you in studying and things. I love you guys' questions. I love you guys' comments on all of my videos. You guys are just amazing. We are close to hitting 20,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh. That is crazy, y'all. Crazy. But yes, definitely give this video a like. If you are new to phlebotomy, if you are trying to become a phlebotomist, you got this. I believe in you. I believe in all of you, and I believe you all are going to do great. I am really loving that people are entering this career. We need y'all. I love this. I love it. I don't know. I love this. This is like, it's so like, oh, I just want to give you guys this hug. I can't wait. Like, I just feel like, where you at? Where you about to work at? Because like, I want to go over there. I want to visit you. How you doing? Like, I just feel like we're just a family over here, and it's just amazing. It really feels really, really great. And I really hope that you guys stay motivated. I really hope that you guys stay focused and everything. Like I said, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. Don't get down on yourself. Believe in yourself. The ones that say, oh, I failed my exam and stuff, hey, it is okay. It is okay. It is okay. You guys are going to do great. Don't give up on yourself. You got this if you are really trying to go further into this career path. And I believe in you guys. I know you're gonna do great, and I hope to cross paths with you someday. That would be amazing, y'all. But definitely like this video. I would really, truly appreciate that. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.